Okay, I got time. Good. One last one. So we got lifesaver grabs, shoulder taps, cake. All right, you remembered. All right, you rock. Okay, so there's this girl that was in a youth group. Now, this isn't my story. This is a borrowed story, but the guy said I could borrow it, so it's a good story. So it didn't happen at my youth group. This guy was talking about spiritual gifts. And that is, let me give you the reference, 1 Peter 4:10. 1 Peter 4:10. 1 Peter 4:10 goes like this. Each one should use whatever kind of gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administrating God's grace in various forms. In other words, God has given you a spiritual gift. The moment the Spirit came in, you've got something. You don't know what it is yet, but as you try different things, you'll notice it'll work. You might have a teaching gift. You might have an organizational gift. You might have a gift that just can sense where there's evil things, and we should be praying about that. You might have a gift to pray things in, and just a faith kind of gift. You might have there's all kinds of stuff in you that supernaturally, and just as the Bible says, it works out in all different kinds of ways. So this youth pastor was telling his youth group about this. And this girl came up afterwards. She said, I don't think I have a spiritual gift. And so he said, well, what kind of things do you like to do? I watch TV. Spiritual gift of TV watching. No? Anything else? Anything you used to like to do? Well, my mom would make, cakes and, cookies. Well, let's try you out on a few things and let you serve and see what really comes alive in you. And she sort of got depressed, and she went around thinking the only thing I know how to do is make a cake. She passed by somebody that said, hey, did you hear it was Billy's birthday today? Yeah. Did anybody do anything? No, I don't think so. She got thinking, birthday, cake. Like Sesame Street. Birthday cake. Birthday cake! I can do that! And so she's told the youth pastor, stay here, keep everybody here longer. Just wait! And she went home. She got out Duncan Hines, and then she made up the cake, put it in the oven. As it was baking, she looked up recipe like for icing, and she made lots of icing. She put the cake out and put it together, and didn't have any little candles. She put a big pillar candle in the middle of it, and she put the icing around it, but still hot, so all over it. But she brought it back anyway, just as the youth group was like all over, and she came back saying, I brought back a birthday cake for Billy. And everybody in the youth group said, food. At least the boys did. Anyway, and so they lit the candle, and they all said, happy birthday, Billy. And all the boys were going, give me food. And they all ate it, and they all went, that's so much fun. And they all went away. And then the cool thing, this is what the cool thing was, Billy came up to her. This is like totally what he said. He said, my mom's been out working a lot, and I don't have a dad. And he said, I haven't had a birthday cake in probably about 5 years, so that was really cool. And she went, this power came up in her. Her superpower came alive. And she had boldness that never came out before. And she went up to the youth pastor. And she said, I know my spiritual gift. I am the minister of cake. And she said, give me the birthdays of everybody, and I will make cake. And that's what she did. She found out what people like. They like Star Wars. So a Darth Vader cake. She made like Mickey Mouse cakes. She made all kinds. And the whole youth group was just blessed by this. And they said, we love her. And then she said, it's just not me. I'm using my spiritual gift of cake making. So she got so pumped, she went up to the senior pastor. No kidding. And she says, you don't know this, but I am the pastor of cake and youth group. And I want to do this for the whole church. Could you give me the anniversary list of the married people? So he went and found out the anniversaries of old adults, the wrinkly kind, and she came up to their front door, ding dong, and she said, "Hi, I'm from Last Baptist. I'm here to give you like a cake." And they said, "Wow, this church is so cool." And everybody got blessed because somebody knew their superpower and used it. You know what? You really, if you have the Spirit of God, you have something in you that will come out and it will give you fulfillment. And you'll go, "Oh man, that was fun." For those of you who are at university, Dan Webster writes about this. He says three circles will help you figure out your spiritual gift. One that gives you fulfillment. One that you see spiritual change in other people. And 3, something that you can feel encouraged by others. Somebody said, "You know what? When you lead worship, like even if when you're off tune, you've got this gift in you that comes out." And somebody says, "You know what? When you lead worship, I feel like I connect with God." And when you're up there leading worship, there's something that just bubbles up in you. And you know it's the Spirit of God doing something. Get those 3 circles together. You go, "That's my superpower. That's my superpower." So you don't have to do everything. You ask God, "What is my superpower?" And He'll tell you. Ask, get a hold of your counselor. And say, "I want to know my superpower." And let's try different things. Let's try you teaching. Let's try serving. Let's try different things to see what comes alive. I'll give you one more story, and then we'll end. There's a young man who wanted to go on a missions trip, but he just didn't know what to do. And he thought he might have the gift of evangelism, that is, helping people come to Jesus. And so he went to a missions conference, and he was going on. He wanted to go to all the really neat, cool places, and he looked at Hawaii, but that just didn't seem right. And he came to the one that said India. He got a tap on the shoulder. It was like, "This is it." He said, No, that was the Cheerios I ate." So he went over and India. Wow. And he kept on being drawn back there, and it was like the Spirit of God going, "India." So he goes and signs up for it. He didn't even know what, but he brought some little booklets so he can tell people about Jesus. He went there and he found out he was working in a TB clinic, like these tents where people were coughing up blood, and all he had to do was go and clean up their messes. He says, "I must have heard God wrong because I didn't want to do this." And so he cleaned up some messes. He tried to tell them, "Do you want to know about Jesus?" "No." "You want to know about?" "No." Nobody wanted to hear about Jesus. And so one night he was sleeping and he heard this guy crying. He just sort of cry out, go, "Ah!" And he goes, "What's the guy's problem? I can't even get any sleep. I hate mission work." And then he saw one of the people just berating him and everybody just yelling at this guy. And then this smell hit. The guy just filled his pants. And he goes, "Oh, great. I'm here doing mission work." And everybody tried to get away from this guy. So, next day, "Do you want to find out about Jesus?" "No." "Do you want to?" "No." He said, "Why am I here, God? You told me to come." The next night he goes to sleep. Here's the same guy go, "Ah!" The Spirit of God taps him on the shoulder again. "Help him." "Oh, ick. I don't want to be around poop." And he said he had to say, "God, give me your strength. I reach out for that lifesaver. Give me your power because I can't do this." He went over to the guy and took him and cradled him in his arms and took him to the bathroom and helped him go to the bathroom. Came back and the guy was stroking his face saying, "Thank you." And he put him to bed. And he said, "Okay, I think that was from you, God." Next day, he woke up. And as he writes this story, he says he didn't even bother to tell anybody about Jesus. But this is what they said. People in the beds around them said, "Come here. Could you tell me about your Jesus?" He started to hand out his little booklets. He started to pray. with some people. Why? Because he had the superpower of an evangelist.